Women that are older are more sexually experienced and they're better in bed.
I went on a date with an older woman for the first time ever. Here's how that went.
If you want to have fun with a woman, go out with an older woman, okay?
Older women are very direct.
Older women don't play no games.
This. Whenever you're dating an older woman, you have to remember that that older woman is actually even has a girl inside of them.
Women who are dating these younger boys, they look really the heck good.
Men treat them like queens. They have the same vibrancies. Their energies are matching.
The lady is 35 and the guy is 24 years. So an age gap of 11 years.
Older women were used to train youngsters to become great lovers.
And a 9-year relationship with a guy that is 15 years younger than me.
This is a shout out to the older women out there. The MILFs, the Cougars. You guys are such a good time. And I always tell the younger guys, if you want to have fun with a woman, go out with an older woman, okay? They're old-fashioned. They know how to have a good time. They know how to show you a good time. They can carry a fun conversation. They've been through it all, okay? They don't disrespect you. They know what they want. And they don't play these games that all these young girls play constantly, okay? So it's less of a headache. So there's nothing wrong with the older women. I love the older women. There's nothing more I find attractive than a beautiful, sexy, feminine MILF or a cougar, or someone who still takes pride in the way they look. Sometimes I'd rather go out with them than these teenage girls or these younger girls who I think are highly overrated, in my opinion. So let me know if you guys have had good experience with the older women. Shout out to all you sexy MILFs and sexy cougars out there. We love you.
I went on a date with an older woman for the first time ever. Here's how that went. For this story, so I don't keep referring to her as older lady or older woman, let's just call her Sarah, because that sounds like the name for an older woman, right? So Sarah and I met on a night out. When I saw her, I was like, wow, she's beautiful. But I don't believe in randomly approaching women. You need to see some sort of signal that they're actually interested. She did give me some sort of signal. It was just a look. So I approached her. We had a nice little conversation before I actually asked her for a number. She did give me a number. I decided to text her the next morning. She was nice. She's a good texter. I was like, great. We continued texting for a good few days. We decided to set a coffee shop date. Again, that's not really something I've done before. I was mostly nervous because it was the first time I'd gone on a date with someone older than me. Not like slightly older than me as well, with someone that was actually older than me. So I get to the coffee shop first. She comes in. She was actually looking very good. Stood up, went for that hug, the intro hug. And let me tell you, she smelled amazing. Can't lie, that made me more attracted to her. I went to go get the coffees. She wanted to split, but I was like, no. Got the coffees, sat back down, had a chat. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a great conversation. We seemed to have the same jokes that we had on text. But there's one thing that was just like, is it really ever gonna go anywhere? I'm much younger than her. So it's like, what are we doing? So it was quite tough. I'm really attracted to her. I'm assuming she thinks the same. Now, I did let her know on a date that, look, she's very attractive. Like, she smells great. It even got to the point where I actually had to ask her what her perfume is. Like, what is it? So she pulled it out of her purse and she showed me it. I asked her like where she got it from because the bottle doesn't seem like a normal brand. She told me exactly where she got it from. She got it from the TikTok shop. I've linked it below just for any of you guys I might ask. But in the end, we went our separate ways. Like I said, the next day she did text me talking about and doing it again. I'll be honest, I still in the back of my head think, are we both wasting each other's time? Is this even worth it, sort of thing? Do we go on another date? I don't know. Comment if you actually think I should go on another date. Anyway, that's my little story there. Let me know what you guys think.
5 reasons why younger men date older women. Let's get to it. Number 1, older women are very direct. Older women don't have time for games. They know what they want. They know what you want. They all about getting straight to it. A lot of times, older women make the first move. They give you a compliment or they just come straight out and say, what's up? That's good for guys that got approaching anxiety. Number 2, older women are busy. Kids, career, etc. She's not spending her whole day worried about you. She's not blowing you up. She's not stalking you. She got her own life and she got her own career. Older women, they know what's up. She knows you talk to other women. They not worried about that. They know the game. They have experience. Number 3, older women are more down to earth. Older women are more down to earth because in their 20s, they were used to being worshipped. Everybody was kissing her ass. Now she's in her 40s. She's not getting the same attention as she was getting in the 20s. So now she's more humble. Their standards are no longer super high. She's no longer acting like she's God's gift to men because she understands that the world is not worshiping her the way she used to be worshipped. Number 4, you don't need to be rich to get an older woman. Let's be honest. Most older women are just happy to have a man, a decent looking man. As long as you got your own crib, car, and a career, and you got something going for yourself, she rocking with you. Older women are just looking for a good time. And when I say a good time, that means she just want that hot beef injection. Number 5, she got money. All the money she got from child support. All the money she got from her previous marriage. All the money she got from alimony. She just looking to spend that shit. And she gonna spend that shit on a young dude. Let me know what you think in the comments. Free game.
Why are younger guys attracted to older women? What's the secret? Older women don't play no games. One thing that you will learn to respect about older women is that you will never have to question where you stand with them. If they want a purely physical relationship, that's all they want from you and that's all they're willing to give to you. If they want a stable, monogamous relationship, they will not compromise and they will not settle for less. And trust and believe, they're not gonna beg you for what they want. They only got a couple of times to ask you and you not giving them what they looking for. They have no problem leaving you in the cold to be either single or go to the next man. Another thing about older women, if they got that bag, they ain't looking for yours. And plus, you gotta understand that older women were taught how to take care of a man by traditional women. They haven't rejected the idea of what society says a lady is. They know how to cook, clean, stroke a man's ego, know exactly what to say to him. And it could all be pure manipulation, but guess what? It works. They ain't out here drinking and smoking with them big ass chains on. And I don't know exactly why this is true, but as a man who dealt with older women before he got married, it felt like you got more respect as a man. They make their expectations, they let them be known, and it's up to you to stay in line. Ain't no checking your phone, ain't no asking where you been. Either you gonna do what you said you was gonna do and be the man you said you were gonna be, or she's leaving. I don't know, maybe it's something about being honest, straightforward, and uncompromising that gets young men on the hook.
To the credit of a lot of these older women who are dating these younger boys, they look really the heck good. Women who are dating these younger boys, they look really the heck good. Okay, like real talk, these women are giving 25. Like 30 isn't 30ing like it used to 30. 40 is 40ing like 25. Okay, like call it modern medicine, call it juicing, better sleep, self-care, soft life, whatever it is. These women are giving young, and I can understand why these boys intellectually can't separate the fact that what they're seeing physically in front of them is not matching up with what we know to be the case as a 40-year-old woman. But again, the responsibility lies with us. Even if that person doesn't have the intent to be manipulative, it doesn't change the fact that they have the power dynamic where in any case, financially, in an argument, in making decisions, they are able to have the upper hand because their brain can do things that the younger one cannot. And that is why it's a problem.
Why do so many younger men end up falling in love with, dating, getting into relationships, and even marriage with women that are 5, 10, or even 20 years older than they are? One of the big reasons, I've actually talked to a bunch of guys about this, and one of the big reasons why a lot of guys are doing this is because women that are older are more sexually experienced and they're better in bed than a lot of younger women are, just because they've had more experience. Some younger women, they don't know what they want, they don't know what they're doing, they don't have any idea what's going on. And a lot of guys would prefer to have a woman who's more experienced, who knows what's going on, who knows what she likes and what she doesn't like. And they just prefer being in relationships and connected to women who are like that.
Did you know that in ancient cultures, older women were used to train young studs to become great lovers? So we all know that when younger men want to be great lovers, they will engage the services of an older woman. That doesn't mean that love cannot flourish. It doesn't mean that they aren't young men with old souls who want to love a grown woman. But we have to be very careful that we don't get carried away with the narrative. So it is very natural to be cautious, to take your time, to really see if the dynamic makes sense with you. And if it does, and if you're okay with the dynamic, if you're okay being the provider, for instance, if you're okay being the dominant one, if you're okay being the masculine in that relationship, that can work a treat. But you will always be at a bit of a disadvantage if certain dynamics are not in place.
Older women dating younger men. I saw this trend, and so I thought I'd make a comment on it because I have been in a 9-year relationship with a guy that is 15 years younger than me. I was in my early 40s, and he was 15 years younger than that. You do the math. And initially, he had pursued me, and I was just out of a very long marriage, and I thought this is perfect because A, he kept pursuing me, and B, I thought he can just like teach me how to date because I had never really dated in my entire life. So I went into the situation thinking this is not going to be long term. And quite honestly, I think that created a lot of problems in the beginning of our relationship. Even though I did truly care about him as a person, there was this feeling that I just wasn't as emotionally invested. So every time he would want more out of the relationship, I was always questioning, like, why? Like, where do you think this is going? Like, why do you want to spend more time together? Like, why do you want to get to know my children? Like, I literally, really honestly did not look at it as long term in the beginning. And in his defense, I don't think he did either. I think what he did really well is he treated me like a normal person that he would date. And I think that was the biggest mistake that I made, is that I didn't treat him like I would a normal person that was in my age range. I sort of kept him at arm's length, and I really went very long without really immersing him in my life. And for obvious reasons, it's because of the age difference. And so the more and more he pursued the fact that he wanted to get involved in my life, and that when we would have conflict, his focus was, how do I resolve the conflict that's going to make the relationship better? And quite honestly, going through that with someone like that, it just makes you feel like, okay, like they're invested and maybe this can be a good relationship. So as time went on, it just sort of maintained a positive relationship in my life. And don't get me wrong, we definitely had regular relationship problems. Like, we fought about different things. I had children, and that of course is always a factor. But the biggest thing that I think you need to consider is that when you're dating anyone, you have to look at them as a person and not a number. So many prejudgments about him was because he was so much younger than me. And don't get me wrong, like, that's pretty valid. I think that's kind of the hesitancy there. I forgot to mention this earlier, but early on in the relationship, he had a business and it started doing really, really well. So it's not a financial thing. In fact, he has always made more money than me. So my advice is, if you want to start dating, I think you should date someone if they meet the standards of a person that you are truly interested in. Look for someone that meets those standards. Don't just look at a number. Now, the only time it actually really matters is if, do they want to get married? Are you going to have children together? But again, those are factors you would consider in any age. So it's important to really evaluate all of that, no matter what the age is. Now, has there been obvious differences in our age? Absolutely. And as mature as he might be, as successful as he might be as a business owner, there's still things that I recognize, like, okay, yeah, that's just because he's young. But overall, I would say it's been a really positive relationship. Do I know the long-term future? I mean, I don't know if anyone ever does. Like, I think you hope for the best and you want to have a long-term relationship with people that you love and you've invested time in. But I mean, people break up all the time. Anyway, so if you're thinking about it, considering it, I mean, why not? I mean, at least have fun. And I think younger men typically like older women because there's no drama, and it's very lighthearted, and they have their life together and they're super busy. And so it could be really, you could find yourself compatible with someone. So give it a try.
Why do young men find much older women so enticing? Let's talk about it. I'm going to try to do it all in one now. Okay, so the other day I came across the post of this gentleman.
It's like seeing that 50-year-old guy at a club where there's 22-year-olds. I say there's a part of you that you haven't graduated from, that's still holding you back.
And I said, he is onto something, and this is what kind of like I've always said, because I came up with a theory, and no one can convince me otherwise, because there's no way that I will ever understand it as anything else. Right, so we've been in lives where I've aired my opinion, not about the older, but about the younger, like in the other direction for me. I've always asked the question, what is the thrill in dating a much older person? Why do young men find this so thrilling, to be with a much older woman. I mean, I'm 48 right now, just 2 years short of 50. But a 25-year-old has no qualms about getting in the DMs, or even like older than that. I don't know how long in the 30s, how far in the 30s one would go to say the person is inappropriately young, but very young people. I mean, I'm an older person type, so I don't know. I don't entertain really the age thing. But I'm convinced that yes, there might be the easiest way to make money. They go for older women and all that. But then I think that there are really genuine young men, and I think this is the majority, who really have a preference for older women for whatever reason. And they will be inappropriately young, and they still want a very much older woman. And I never think they have bad intentions. I always think to myself, who violated you? Because I think a lot of times when they say I prefer older women, they don't know that it's their trauma speaking. They don't know that it is a toxic trait that developed as a result of a trauma when they were overexposed as young people to inappropriate behavior by adults in their lives who were supposed to take care of them. And like I say, no one can tell me otherwise about this, because I grew up in a community where boys got sexual experience at inappropriately young ages. Very young, 12 years old. No child should be exposed to sex at 12 years old. But they were. They were having multiple partners by the age of 14. I went to school with them. So today I come across somebody that I've always known, has always declared love for me, and much younger. And, as we start walking, and I say to him, relationship-wise, because there's flirting, always flirting, and I say to him, why is it that men, because it's a curiosity I have, why is it that men can never tell when someone is out of their league? Or like they can tell that someone is out of the league, but they will still go for it. I know it's a very classist thing to ask, but it's a question I have. I'm curious. And then he gives me his opinion on it, why men do it. And I'm sure a lot of women have experienced this. And it even makes you ask yourself, like, what do I look like? What does it say about me? Like, men are just so audacious about, who they approach. And so now I'm getting to, other questions, and I ask, and why is it that so many young men have this preference for older women? Like, for example, you. Why would you want to be with me? I am so much older than you. What is the thrill in that? And he says, no, I've always just, preferred older women. Like, you know your business. And he says all the things that they always say. But I'm never convinced by that. You see your mother, she's older, and she's got a good head on her shoulders, and she's got her things together, but you never see her in a sexual manner. So why would you see me, somebody who could be your mother's friend? And so I say to him, okay, so how young were you when you had your first sexual experience? And he says, I was around 14 years old. And I said, oh my God, who with? If you don't mind my asking, was it with a friend? Or he said, no, it was with my teacher. And I said, bingo! That is exactly what I'm talking about. And I said to him, do you realize that you do not need me? You don't need sex with me. You need a session with a therapist. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, because you don't know that you were raped as a child. You think you prefer older women, but that experience that you had with that person, because I'm assuming it wasn't once, it twisted something in your mind to associate sex with much, much older women. It is not that if she hadn't come around, you probably would not feel the same. You would not look at life the same. It programmed you to associate sex with much older women, because the first person that put you through this process regularly for a period of time was an older person, and it affected you psychologically, and you don't know it. And the second thing is that a part of your brain, as much as you are telling me now that no, but it was such a nice experience, it was nice, it was the first time I saw what a vagina was, and what this was, and what that was, and it was such a nice experience. And I said to him, yes, because biologically, sex is a stimulant. It stimulates your body for a response, and that response is pleasurable. Because even if, it's not pleasurable in the sense that we would define pleasure, but the body responds the way it's supposed to respond. And it does bring a certain euphoria, because even when a girl is being raped, sometimes she will have a climax, and that sometimes in courts, those girls would be ashamed because they did have a biological reaction, but it doesn't negate the fact that they were violated, because their body is designed to react a certain way. Your body is designed to react a certain way with or without your consent. And as a child, you were not at an age of consent. You were overexposed to inappropriate behavior by a predator. And you never got to process that, because everybody was patting you on the back for being the man. And it skewed you for the rest of your life. And now you go around thinking you prefer old women. You go around thinking you prefer women who could be your mother and your grandmother as your bedmate. I think I left him traumatized, because he was like, I've never thought of it like that. And I think he still hasn't bought it, but I did see a moment in his eyes where he thought, oh fuck. And I said to him, like, you don't need sex with me. You need to be on the couch with a therapist, working through your childhood issues, so you can work out who you really are and what you really prefer. Because that one was programmed into you and not by you. So that was my interesting morning.
This is all the men who actually want to date older women, aka Kababa. Yes, you. One key thing I want you guys to know is this. Whenever you're dating an older woman, you have to remember that that older woman is actually even has a girl inside of them. And the main thing is, they have to see a utility in you. And you thinking that you're going to get the same treatment that a young girl would get from a wababa is foolishness. Kumbaf. You have to remember this. You are basically having the same budget as a broke sugar daddy. Being very honest. They will not give you as much as even a girl would get from a sugar daddy. Because innately, they don't only want to take care of you. They don't want to see you as a burden. They want to see you as a solution. Remember, if you're not much of a solution to them, boss, you'll be thrown out very fast. That's why they're single. Why do you think they didn't throw out their husbands in the past? Remember that. Where?
Okay, so the older woman, younger man dating debate has blown up on TikTok. This is kind of a bit of a part two. Didn't even think there'd be a part two, but the response was overwhelmingly positive for older women dating younger men. Two parts to this. The first one is that the women that are successfully navigating relationships with younger guys are raving about it. They have indicated that the men treat them like queens. They have the same vibrancies. Their energies are matching both physically and mentally, and that is perfect. That's the perfect storm. Really positive part is that there's been a lot of younger men commented and messaged saying how much they love being with an older woman. And the reason is that we're more comfortable with ourselves. We don't feel so insecure about our bodies because we know our bodies don't look like they used to. And we're okay with that. We're comfortable with that. And my theory is if you're lucky enough to be lying next to me, then you are going to love what's there. So why would I feel embarrassed or ashamed or insecure? So a bit of a message to the older women, just love who you are, embrace it. That confidence will come out. Men will be attracted to that of any age, but it appears that the younger men especially. And if you're on the apps and you're not having any luck with the older guys, and they're not really treating you like the queen that you are, then drop that age group down by 5 years, give it a spin and see whether or not you match with a younger man and whether or not he will match your energy. Keep me posted. I love it.
So this is a question here. So the lady is 35 and the guy is 24 years. So an age gap of 11 years. The lady is 11 years older. So this is where we say age is not just a number. And I'm trying to understand the dynamics of your relationship. What are you hoping to achieve from this relationship? Because I actually advocate dating with purpose, dating with an end goal, being intentional while dating. If you date a guy who's way younger than you, you'll automatically find yourself leaning into your masculine side as a woman. You're the one who's setting dates. You're the one who's advising him. You're the one, you take over, you take initiative and you take the lead role in your relationship. Then you end up presenting this guy and feeling bad about yourself. Number two, when you date a younger guy, it ignites your motherly instincts. You automatically start raising this man. You start behaving like his mother. Yeah, and that's just nature. And number three, if you're looking for a relationship that has a future, maybe you'd want to settle down, you're thinking of kids, this man can waste your time. And probably this guy is not matured enough for that stage. Yeah.
In this generation, most older women are being pursued by younger men. So if you are a woman and you are considering dating a younger man, I want to give you some guidelines to help you with. This is Before the Vow. My name is Ajwa. Most younger men are always saying that they see old as attractive or they see older women as matured. When you want to date a younger man, make sure that he's self-sufficient. He has a stable job and he's comfortable with his life as well as thinking of growing. If he doesn't have his own finances or if he's not self-sufficient, he might be using you to climb the ladder because they think that the younger women of today are demanding and they know that you are already self-sufficient. Most of the times, the older women are already independent. Sometimes they already have their own house or they have lived life to a certain level that they want to marry. So even if they meet someone who is younger, they don't care. And most guys will see that as an opportunity to get the needed support from you. So if the person is not self-sufficient, if the person cannot, out of his own way, buy you gifts or give you financial support, then what kind of man are you going to entertain in your life? Are you entertaining a provider or someone that you are going to provide? From the beginning, they will say a lot to entice you, but as time goes on, they will start asking favors from you. So when you're dating them, you should know your limits in terms of provision. Again, if you are considering dating a younger man, know that your energy matches up to his because these younger men have a lot of energy in terms of everything. If you don't share the same passion or interest, there will be a time you'll be left at home and they still want to be having fun. If you cannot have those fun with him, you'll be left in the house and be suspecting that he's cheating on you. So if the two of you are able to be on the same level when it comes to your interests, your goals, your expectations in life, it will be easy for you to get along. Most older women feel young when they are dating younger men. But these things can just be from the beginning. After some time, you will not be able to match up with their energy. If you're considering dating a younger man, make sure you don't appear too old when you are with him. When it comes to your physical looks, you should always make sure that you maintain your younger self. If you're going to put unnecessary pressure on yourself just to maintain that level of physical lust with him, it's not going to be a healthy relationship for you. So make sure that genetically you look young, that it is difficult for people to identify that you're older than him, because from the beginning they will say it is okay, but after a while they will come back to say that people are teasing them. When you're considering dating a younger man, make sure that you both are on the same position when it comes to childbirth. You should talk about how many children you want to give. If you are a woman who cannot have any other child and you want to date a younger man, know that it's just going to be for fun. For now, they will say it's okay, but after a while, they will start putting pressure on you, and that pressure will make you insecure. So you need to communicate these things from the beginning. If you know you cannot have extra children or more than one, you should be with a person who has a child somewhere and still wants to have one with you. If you are incapable of giving him the number of children that he wants, they are going to use that vulnerability of yours as a way of an excuse to break up with you in future. And finally, if you are dating someone who is younger, know that anything at all can happen. Don't put all your emotions into that relationship thinking you have found your Mr. Right. Most younger men need people who can support them to grow. If you are giving them the support, know your limits. If you are doing everything with them, know your limits until they are ahead of you. If they are taking the lead in terms of the relationship, knowing that I need to provide, they will see you as their mother. They will lie low to use you. After a while, they will tell you that you can't do this or you are like that, and use all those things as an excuse to leave you. So know this before you consider being in a relationship with a younger man. Thank you.
Hi friends, join the conversation down below in the comment section and let me know what your opinion is when it comes to this topic. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment on this video. See you in my next one. Bye. God bless.